0 to 60, who cares? Does it come with a manual? Check. Does the automatic suck? Now we can talk. Buckle up as we transcend the ordinary and go into the extraordinary. The Porsche 911's 992's sculpted curves and roaring engine is not just about having fun. In many cases, it's also about turning a profit, or at the very least, not losing any money. The Porsche 911 is not a normal car, and the values explain this. Think of it as art with a twist. Since I've had Porsche since I was 17 years old, I've seen everything go up and down. I see so many videos online about the depreciation curves, the ups and downs, how the resale of the Porsches are. It kind of makes you think, are these people thinking in terms of days or weeks or months? It does not make any sense. Don't get me wrong, it might make sense for dealers, which are flipping cars, but the average enthusiast is looking to buy and hold. If the prices go up and down a couple percentage points in the span of a year, it does not affect most Porsche owners. That being said, it's always good to have an exit strategy. And also, what could be funner than enjoying a car for a period of time and then selling it for more? So in many ways, it's a double the fun. But before we dive in, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Drop a like and let's embark into this journey of fun and a little bit of financial foresight. You've got to remember that everybody who's ever purchased a Porsche 911 brand new has wanted it ever since they were a little kid. It was not an impulse buy. When they were growing up, they had one or two of these. And if they were extra cool, they had a 928. So by the time that they're looking to actually option out the car, they've already had the car in their head for decades, and they're gonna order it exactly how they want it. This is one of the advantages of Porsche not changing the design. The car you wanted when you were 5 years old is still the car that you're gonna want when you're 60. So this huge advantage that Porsche has means that almost every kid wants a Porsche 911, but they want it just a little bit different. And that's where the options come in. Porsche knows, exactly like Ferrari, which also puts the options on a plaque in the car, that in the secondary market, the options are what sell a car. So obviously, the limited edition models are usually the ones that automatically start going up. And what I mean by automatically, as in the depreciation curve really does not affect them. These cars are sold at the dealership and usually stored away because they immediately start going up in value. And the moment that any specific model is discontinued, if it's a limited edition, the prices in many cases double. You can option it out to any color you want and wrap every single piece of plastic in that car with leather, even the buttons. Now, it sounds extravagant, but fast forward 20 years, the cars that are optioned out with crazy colors and crazy options are the ones that command all the headlines. And this trend is only growing. So you might spend an extra $30,000 or $40,000 on options, but if you ever do sell the car in 10, 15, 20 years, you've got something that is so special that everybody's gonna want, and it's gonna be very easy to sell because there's not another one like it on the used car market. And this is the trend that has been happening with Porsche 911s ever since the 80s. It's just getting a lot more now. Beyond the crazy options cars, the one thing that really doesn't cost anything to guarantee that the Porsche 911 992 that you're purchasing maintains its value far higher than all the other ones is going with the manual transmission. And yes, I know that the PDK is far superior than the manual. It's faster and in many cases far more reliable because you really can't miss a shift. But better and faster does not equate a higher resale. Now, there's a lot of theories on this. Why would a technically superior car be worth less? A lot's got to do with the perception. Look on the Auto Trader, Cars.com, everywhere. When you see PDK equipped cars, it shows as automatic. It's so much so that Porsche even changed the automatic lever on its GT3 to make it look like if it were a stick shift car. This was the only reason they changed it. So if you don't want to spend a lot on options, but you still want to guarantee that your Porsche maintains a really high resale value, just get the manual. It's really easy to drive. The clutch is super light. It's almost like it's not even there. Believe me. After the warranties expire on the Porsche 992, how is it going to behave? Well, there's already a lot of cars on the road that tell us exactly how it is, because the Porsche 992 has a version of the Porsche 991's engine, which has a version of the Porsche 997.2's engine. Those engines have been very reliable if you keep them stock. If you start boosting them, which is very easy to do by the way, and don't upgrade the cooling system, you're going to have issues like this. And if you're the type of person that likes to take it to the dealership to get it fixed, you're also gonna have issues like this.
$8,830.25 to do this job.
Now, it's not as bad as it sounds. You gotta remember that dealerships make their money with parts and labor in their service department. So this price is what it is. It wouldn't be the real price to get a turbo fixed. It's just a couple bolts and a swap. So don't let this scare you. The engines are rock solid, and there are many 997.2s and 991s already with over 200,000 miles, running trouble-free. You see what I mean about the Porsche 992 being on the road for a very long time? You can't do the depreciation math with 12 or 24 months. It doesn't make any sense. As far as the life of the car, the Porsche 992 is going to be on the road a long time. Many people say today the same thing that they used to say even when air-cooled 911s were new. These cars will not appreciate how the older generation Porsches do. This keeps happening over and over again. Realistically, the Porsche 911 992 is going to be on the streets for the next 50 years. And it's going to go through a lot of up and downs regardless of the economy, because styles and tastes change. You've got to think long term, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. In the early 2000s, the Porsche 964 was selling in the teens, and I remember that they were very difficult to sell. Everybody saw them as old and almost irrelevant. Look at it now. It has become, to many, the ultimate Porsche to have, and the prices totally match it. The Porsche 996 for many years sold for below average because of its headlights, but now the headlights are retro cool. The Porsche 996 now is where the Porsche 964 was in the early 2000s, underappreciated. Time to snap those up. Can the Porsche 992 ever be collectible, considering that there are so many of them being made? It's a simple yes, and it's all about the demographics. More people know about the Porsche 911 now than they did when I was younger. When the Porsche 993 came out, I knew about it because I was obsessed with cars, but most people did not know what it was. Even the kids in my high school didn't know what it was, and they had no way of finding out what it was. But today, everybody knows what a Porsche 911 is. That means your aunt, your dad, your brother, even your abuelita knows what a Porsche 911 is. So the demand is increasing relative to the cars being made. That's why Porsche has taken the 911 more upmarket, because it can. And the fact that it stays relatively the same means that brand awareness keeps going up. So it's got time on its side. And this doesn't happen with Ferraris and McLarens, that they're constantly changing. The broader market really doesn't know what they're looking at when they see one of them. They might think it's a Corvette. So Porsche charges supercar money because more people know. There's also more Porsche events all around the world than there are of any other make, Ferrari included. This means that when you purchase a Porsche 911 992, you're actually buying into a community of really cool people that are down to earth and just love cars. And it's all about branding. They even built a tower here in Miami. Too much? Well, that branding is what's gonna guarantee that any Porsche 911 992 that you purchase will have an ultimate resale value versus any other car that you could purchase in its price range. Porsche really knows what they're doing, especially these past 20 years. So will you like the Porsche 992 in a year after you've purchased it? Yes. How about in 10 years? You better believe it. But the most important thing is to stay true to yourself and buy the one you really want. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video.